Yes. So I started my Hamilton journey in 2018. I booked the show on September 18th, 2018. I remember that, 9/18/18. And I started as a standby, covering the roles of Hamilton, Mulligan Madison, and Lawrence Phillip. My debut on stage was with Lin-Manuel Miranda, who created the show and starred as Hamilton in Puerto Rico. I got to play his son there and went on to take over as Hamilton in 2022 full-time, and then eventually I ended up as Aaron Burr on the international tour. And so it's been about 4 to 5 years. It doesn't feel like that, but I'm growing up with the show in a sense. So it's really, really phenomenal to be here now. I mean, for one, it's the first time we've been, I think, this far doing the show from America, besides Australia. So I think for me specifically, being in America telling the story was very different, and now bringing it to an international audience, seeing how the show, the lyrics, the concepts, the themes resonate within the different cultures has been really fun. And we have about 5 different countries between, all of us within this one show. So, being from different places, having different backgrounds, telling the same story has been very, very unique. But we're all vets in a sense too. So it's no longer about like, oh my gosh, I'm doing Hamilton. It's really about connecting and noticing what, not only within the lyrics, but under the surface, what we connect to and what resonates within us as human beings. And post-pandemic also, just being able to be the first back on the road and bring this story to audiences in person and see how they receive it 7, 8 years later, from when they first wanted to see it. So it's been really, really fun, and hopefully that Singapore will be the same. Hopefully we get a good response, because they're very polite here. That's been one thing, and hopefully they're not too shy there. Oh my gosh, every time Rachel Ann Gold does it, it's something that the people, you can hear them laughing in the audience, which is really, really nice. Because there's certain things that in the show we do all the time that people don't notice. And so those moments, it reminds them that this is live, this is not, we didn't choreograph this. This is just a personal thing that we threw in there, and it's always nice to connect something to the culture and the history of what we're in right now, so yeah. He feels a lot like me, actually. He was born and raised in the church, essentially. His grandfather was a preacher. And so this sense of, it's, a lot of people look at him as a selfish character, but what they don't understand is that he's the last of his kind. And so it's not about, I'm doing this selfish thing. It's more so about trying to protect and preserve this thing that his family built. And that's something I feel like the audience always misses, because within the story of it all, we have to paint this picture of protagonist and antagonist. But this could have been a show about Burr. He made a crazy mistake, and he took a very different approach. So one thing I would say is that there are a lot of people out there like Burr who are afraid to take chances. But I think what we can learn from Burr is that opportunities are so small, and the world is wide enough. That's one of my favorite lyrics about Burr, is that especially right now with the wars going on, that it's so confined to this thing. And you think about space and how small Earth is, and it's like, if something came to attack us, we would probably unite and go against that thing. And that's what I want us to realize, is that we could do that now before something comes from the outside, that the world is wide enough for all of us. Yeah.
That was his reality. He killed Hamilton.
Yes, he really did. And that's the greatest thing about the end of the show, that Hamilton might have not thrown his shot away. He might have shot at Burr, and Burr's bullet just hit him first. So the fun thing about the show is that you get to tell it however you perceive it. It's not like one, the directors really encourage us to invest our own stories within the context of the show, what it is. But yeah, there's something different for everyone. So that's really, really, really fun to play with.
There's also one thing that aligned you with Hamilton when you sang Theodosia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, love for the family, right?
Yes. Yeah, especially when when you've grown up without parents and you don't know how to love. Like, how can you give love when you haven't learned how to receive it, right? So it's like getting to play with that. And my grandmother passed away a long time. I think about her all the time, because it's one of those things that when I have kids one day, she won't get to see those kids. And I think about this idea of like, oh, like she lives on through me, right? So that's what that moment in the show is about, is that you may have missed out on some things in your youth, but this is your opportunity to make up for it. And I feel like it's even more of a thing then because like it's like, oh, like I realized what it was like not to have it. And so this is why Theodosia, he's dedicating every day is what he says. So it's really about the legacy of it all. Who's next? She's next. So yeah. Well, I think the themes of life kind of repeat themselves, right? It's like, it's funny how we all dress things, you know, like that's all 2023 is. It's just a different version of 2000. You know, it's like, it's the same things going on. It's greed, it's power, it's love, it's forgiveness. And I think that's one thing that no matter where you're from, that everyone's been through something. Everyone has made mistakes. Everyone wants something. Everyone fears something. So all of those things are similar, no matter where the context of the show happened. But, you know, Hamilton could have come to Asia. I think at that time there was just so much opportunity in America, which is why this is an American story. But yeah, there are, you know, I visited intramurals and seeing the photos from those things, the torture and the pain and the grief that people go through is not an American thing. You know, it's we sort of get the pride and the glamour of it all, but yeah, I think this is just a show about humanity, about how we treat each other, and how we love on each other, and how we can create a better future by looking at the past. So I think that's why this works, and I think that's why it will continue to work. And I don't know if they even knew that it would work here, because they talk a lot about, wow, we're going to Asia. Like, we never thought when we were at the Public in New York this would reach this many audiences. But obviously, there's some secret sauce in there, and I think it's identity, finding who we are, especially after the pandemic. You know, we lost ourselves, you know, for a bit, but this really shows us instances and glimpses of what it's like to be on both sides of the thing. And so in that way, we get to experiment with humanity, and I think that's why it will continue to heal and hopefully reach and change the future of what we're building on this earth, on this planet. One thing that we always look forward to is the theater. I'm excited to see the theater and what that's like, because that's where we live, right? That's our home. And then also how the audience responds to the show. But yeah, I haven't been before, so I'm also just looking forward to visiting and seeing it for the first time and getting my hands on the place, because I read a lot about these things, but until you're there, you really never know. The food, obviously, I've heard it's super, super clean. So yeah, I'm excited to see what new experiences Singapore has for us, and expenses, because I've heard that it's very expensive there. So maybe you can give us a discount, you know, here and there. I don't know if you have any discounts or if you know anybody, but we're always looking for the benefits of being in Hamilton. I know every time we go somewhere, we're treated as celebrities, and it's so, so beautiful. A lot of people see us as these global stars, and it's really great, but we're really just it's a unit. You know, we're unified in that way that all of our star power gets to come together and do this one show. And so I'm excited to see how people respond to us as individuals and as performers.